देखूं मैं तुझे या देखूं कुदरत के नजारे, मुश्किलों में है ये दिल मेरा। माना तेरी सूरत की है चांदी 100 टका, बिल्लो मेरे दिल का सोना भी खरा। ये तेरी चांद बालियां है होठों पे ये गालियां, ये तेरी चांद बालियां है होठों पे ये गालियां, सोचने का मौका ना दिया है। मैं तो तेरे पीछे हो लिया, हाँ मैं तो तेरे पीछे हो लिया, मैं तो तेरे पीछे। Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir, not the most appropriate of songs when you're going to be discussing history and civics as part of the SWS NATO series, right? This video is going to be important and I would want each one of you to stay with the video right till the end, because this is based purely on feedback, because I was getting too many queries from you students on what exactly this concept means, what exactly no confidence motion means, etc. So I thought, let me just explain this as part of this video so that everyone can understand at the same time. Okay, instead of trying to explain it in terms of notes to each one individually. Okay, so that's the idea behind this video. In the 2 marks question, you will be able to answer this if you understand the concept, especially when it comes to the 2 questions pertaining to civics. Okay, and I will tell that with the help of examples in this video. Uske baad, there is something which I spent close to 1.5 hours to prepare yesterday. There is something for history, so that it's there all in one place, so you'll be able to go through it. If you note it down, it will become easy. See, there is this thing, ki de do ye, but the point is that when you write it once, it always gets imprinted in your mind that much better. Utna zyada achhi tarah se yaad rehta hai. Okay, this I'm telling from experience as a student, as an educator. Okay, so like and subscribe to the channel, because there is a lot more coming up as part of the SWS NATO series. Okay, so let's get started. Now, we'll first deal with the civics part. The number of MPs in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, isko leke kafi confusion hai. So let me clarify this out here, so that, and for these kind of things I don't need any notes, because ye sab mere ko, hamesha yaad rehta hai. You ask me the number of MPs from any state Lok Sabha MPs, I will remember, because I've covered close to over 25 elections in the last 30 years in journalism. So, Lok Sabha as well as different assembly elections. So, number of MPs in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Let's deal with the Rajya Sabha. It is 238 elected. Yaad rakhna, these are elected, plus 12 nominated by the President of India. Question can come, who nominates them? See, always remember the distinction between appointment and election, okay, and nomination. So these people are nominated. They are from different fields, sports fields, like Sachin Tendulkar was, or now PT Usha is, or music maestro Ilaiyaraaja is. They are all nominated by the president to the Rajya Sabha. So 238 plus 12, it becomes 250 members. Okay, this is as far as the upper house is concerned, the Council of States. Now let's come to the Lok Sabha, which has higher numerical strength. Now, please remember that 550 is the maximum strength of the Lok Sabha. Maximum strength. Let me just move it forward. So, 550 is the maximum strength that the Lok Sabha can have. But right now, what Lok Sabha has is only 543. Now, in many of your books, which have not been updated, they have written 552. 552 is because there was the thing of 2 Anglo-Indian MPs who used to be nominated, not elected. So it used to be 550 plus 2 Anglo-Indian MPs. So this 543 used to be 545 till 3 years ago. Okay. Now, the 2 Anglo-Indian MPs are no longer nominated by the president. The reason was that they felt that the Anglo-Indian community was not represented in terms of election to the Lok Sabha. किसी भी constituency से उनका numerical strength was not there, that so parties would not field Anglo-Indian candidates, so no Anglo-Indian MPs were elected to the Rajya Sabha, candidates were elected as MPs to the Rajya Sabha. तो इस वजह से उस community को representation देने के लिए दो Anglo-Indian MPs को nominate करने का that trend was there, not trend, I mean that practice was there of nominating two Anglo-Indian MPs to the Lok Sabha. Okay, now that is no longer so. So this 545 figure no longer exists. It is 543. Okay, I hope you understood. 550 is the maximum strength. In 1950, when India became a republic, the figure was 500. Sometime in the 1970s, it became 525. From 525, now it is at 550, the maximum strength. 2026 will be the delimitation exercise that will take place, okay, where they will once again look at constituencies, whether this constituency needs to be broken up into 2 constituencies or 3 constituencies, right? So that will happen, in which case the number of Lok Sabha constituencies subsequent to 2026 could actually increase from 550. But till then, it is 550 is the maximum. But right now, the number is 543. So the present strength of the Lok Sabha is 543. I hope this is clear now. Okay. Now, usme, so 543 and the breakup is 524 MPs from different states, 28 states of India. Okay. And 19 from the Union Territories. The initial figure till the Article 370 was removed in Jammu and Kashmir moved from a state to a union territory, right? Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh became union territories. Usse pehle the figure used to be, the breakup used to be 530 plus 13. 530 plus 13. But now 5 Lok Sabha constituencies from Jammu and Kashmir and 1 from Ladakh, 6 of them have moved from states to union territories. So this has become 19 and this has become 524. Understood? This is the breakup. You may think ye hai ya nahi hai. I'm just telling you, lena hai to lo, because see, there is one more problem I have. I had done that 40 questions on history, civics. See, please understand how we do the MCQs. We do not copy it from some book and put it out here. You will not find a question like, when did India become independent? 14th August 1947, 15th August 1947, 16th August 1947 or 26th January 1950. I will not give you questions like that. वो lollipop यहाँ नहीं मिलेगा. My questions will try to force you to think and try to remember what you have studied, be it in history or be it in civics. Now, I'll just tell you briefly how I explain, because I want to make this clear, because there are some people who think, इसमें से 15 questions out of syllabus है. अरे उतना टाइम अगर आप उन 15 क्वेश्चंस के आंसर को समझने में और लर्न करने में लगा देते तो आपका ज्यादा भला होता. And I'll tell you why. What I do is that I make my questions, and then what I have done is I have looked at about 25 to 30 pre-board papers of different schools, not from one city. It's not like, I have taken it only from Bengaluru or only from Kolkata. I have taken it from across the country, from small towns to big metro cities, to understand how the papers are being formulated. And in that, if I find a question which is in the gray area, that it may be in syllabus, it may not be in syllabus, but teachers have given it as part of their pre-board examination paper. अगर एक स्कूल में है तो मैं bother नहीं करता हूं, लेकिन if the same kind of question, same pattern of question has appeared in 2 or 3 different schools' pre-board papers, then I try to include that, and that's what I have done. Okay, that's what I have done in any of the thing. Apart from the questions that I have made, some of these questions are from the pre-board papers, and I've said that in my video also. I always mention the source from where anything has been taken. So that's where. So if teachers in some schools are considering it important enough to teach their students and put it therefore in the pre-board papers, I think my students should know about it. See, it's like this, World War, you will know the causes that led to the World War. Shouldn't you logically know what led to the end of the World War? I am told Hiroshima and Nagasaki syllabus mein nahi hai, so we will not learn it. Hiroshima and Nagasaki are probably the most important world-changing events in the 20th century. How can you not know about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Even as general knowledge, you should be knowing about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So I find this whole thing of, कि मेरे को ये नहीं, those who don't want to do it, please don't do it. There's no compulsion. But from my side, I would not want to take any chances कि ये नहीं पढ़ाया and students missed out on any marks. From my side, I do not claim to be the best teacher, but I'm a very sincere teacher. I'm very honest and wedded to my cause. If I want to teach something, I will teach it properly. That's all. So if you think it's out of syllabus, you're free to think it's out of syllabus. Please don't touch it. But from my side, I will, whatever I think it falls in that gray area, will have to be communicated, will have to be taught. If it comes in the exams or not comes in the exams, that's secondary. यहाँ पे कुछ स्टोर हो गया तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. इट डज नॉट, उसके लिए आपको एक्स्ट्रा टैक्स नहीं देना पड़ता है. So that's my limited point. So don't be obsessed with this thing, ये एग्जाम में नहीं है, ये एग्जाम में है. There are a lot of things which are in the gray kind of an area. We cannot say, oh, Sardar Patel is not there in the syllabus, so I will not have anything to do with Sardar Patel or Jinnah, but I will learn only about Gandhi and Bose. The point is that they are also, if there was no Jinnah, there would not have been any partition of the country, right? So there are a lot of things which cannot be clinically divided, कि ये पढ़ना है, ये नहीं पढ़ना है, kind of thing. Anyway, I just wanted to make that point. Now let's move ahead. The next point, which a lot of people seem to be having confusion about, I will just clarify this. So listen to this carefully, and I'm going to speak in English because a lot of students who do not know Hindi are not able to understand, and I don't think it's very fair. There are some people who write extremely rude kind of comments, which I don't think is necessary. Now, the no confidence motion. Please remember, one, it can be moved only in the Lok Sabha, not in the Rajya Sabha. Point number one. Now, let's understand what happens. You know the entire procedures, that how many MPs have to propose it, second it, all that you know. All that is part which you should be aware of. Yes, syllabus mein hai. Okay. Now, what happens if it is passed? Now, some of the students have been asking me, does every MP have to resign? Does every MP have to resign? What happens is that if the no confidence motion, abhi the majority mark is at 272. Okay. So if the government of the day fails to get 272 votes in the no confidence motion, assuming that every MP is present and voting, right? So usme se agar the simple majority ka number nahi milta hai, right? So in that case, the government will fall. The government will fall. What happens if the government falls? I'll explain to you in very simple terms. Listen to this carefully. If the government fails the no majority test, no confidence test, that the confidence which has been, no confidence which has been moved by any member of the opposition or any party, the government ko ye number nahi milta hai, 272 out of the 543. Okay. Agar nahi milta hai to, well, the first thing is that, and if there is, the president will try to explore if any other party can come together or parties can come together and form the government. If government has not got 272, it obviously means that the opposition is in majority. So can the rest of the house, that can the opposition get together and form a government? The reason why this is done is because elections, the Lok Sabha elections conducted across the country, they are an extremely expensive affair, right? You need to kind of EVM, security, polling officers, counting officers, the entire, and then the parties which they have to spend money. It's an extremely costly affair. So the idea is that we should ideally have elections only once in 5 years, right? You cannot be having elections every 1-2 years to the Lok Sabha. So if the rest of the house can come together, let's assume party A has fallen. It has failed the no confidence motion. Can B, C, D, E, F, 5 different parties which have all voted against A, can they come together and form a government under a new prime minister? If that can happen, the same Lok Sabha mein, it will continue. The Lok Sabha will not get dissolved. Understood? It will not get dissolved in that case. Understood? So it will continue for the rest of the term, right? For example, Karnataka mein, just to take a state level ka example, no party got a majority. Then the Congress and the JDS came together. They ruled for, I think, some 2 years or something. Then the government fell. They failed the no confidence motion. I don't know whether the motion went through, but he resigned. H.D. Kumaraswamy resigned as chief minister. And then the BJP came to power, right? They formed the government. So that's what happens. Now let's move forward. Aur main batata hu. Do MPs have to resign if no confidence motion is passed? No. MPs do not have to resign. if the no confidence motion is passed against the prime minister and the government falls and someone else becomes the prime minister and another government is formed in the same Lok Sabha within the same numerical strength, the prime minister will continue as a member of parliament. He does not have to resign as MP unless the Lok Sabha is dissolved after no confidence motion. Agar if B plus C plus D plus E cannot form a government together, they have differences. B and C do not get along with D and E. They were together against A, but they do not get along with each other. They cannot form a government together, in which case the president will say, okay, this Lok Sabha is dissolved, in which case obviously general elections, Lok Sabha elections will be called. So in that case, the Lok Sabha gets dissolved after no confidence motion if no other government is formed in the same Lok Sabha. I hope this is clear. Can only prime minister be changed? Yes, that can also happen, that the no confidence motion is passed against the government. Prime minister resigns means the entire council of ministers has also resigned. It is possible that the same formation can say that, okay, you seem to have a problem against this prime minister. Okay, no problem. What I will do is that I will change the prime minister. Instead of A, I will appoint B as prime minister and he will form his own council of ministers, he or she. And maybe you are okay with it. The opposition will say, yeah, we are okay with that. We don't like A, we like B. We are okay with B. So the prime minister can be changed and a new government can be formed. So instead of the government of A headed by A, it will become the government headed by B. Clear? So can only prime minister be changed after a no confidence motion is passed? Yes. Now there are 3 prime ministers against who the no confidence motion actually was passed. Passed means it was successfully passed. The government fell. VP Singh in 1990, GK question, अगर out of syllabus है तो कान बंद कर लो, नहीं देखना, हमको नहीं देखना. Okay. Deve Gowda in 1997. Now after Deve Gowda, I.K. Gujral became the prime minister, right? In the same Lok Sabha. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 1999. He in fact lost by 1 vote. 1 vote. Dramatic it was, by 1 vote. Okay. So these 3 prime ministers who actually lost the no confidence motion. Okay, so that's as far as the civics part is concerned. I hope there are no doubts anymore as far as this part of the no confidence motion and what is the actual strength of the Lok Sabha is concerned. I hope I have made it clear. Okay, now let me move to history. Okay, let me move to history. इसमें मैं काफी टाइम लगाया. Titles that you need to know. इनको एक साथ रख लो, आसानी होगी आपको पढ़ने में. Raja Rammohn Roy was known as the father of Indian Renaissance. Okay, Renaissance is, dramatic kind of changes that happen. So this is the title which was given to RRR. Okay, then he was also called the prophet of Indian nationalism. This was another title. So 2 titles associated with Raja Rammohn Roy. The Indian nationalism ka you will hear it again with 2 more people. So yaad rakhna that he is called the prophet of Indian nationalism. Okay. Dadabhai Naoroji was known as the grand old man of India. He was also known as India's unofficial ambassador to England because he would kind of spend a lot of time in London talking about India's problems and making people in Britain aware of the problems that India faced. Okay. He was the first Indian to be elected to the British House of Commons, and this was the constituency from where he was elected. Central Finsbury in London. I think by 5 votes he won the election. Okay. 1892. The first Indian to be elected. So if this comes as an MCQ question, you should be able to answer that. Okay, this is all GK. Gopalakrishna Gokhale was known as the political mentor of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, he was awarded the title of the Companion of the Indian Empire. He was also, he set up the Servants of Indian Society, and he was also a member of the Imperial Legislative Council. Imperial Legislative Council. Then we come to Surendranath Banerjee, who was known as father of Indian nationalism. Prophet of Indian nationalism, father of Indian nationalism. Do not get confused. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, very important, inke kafi sare hain. He was also called as Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Okay. He was also called as Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He was also called the father of assertive nationalism. Okay, the father of assertive nationalism. Now, this is important what the British called him. The British called him the father of Indian unrest. Unrest. That is, he was someone who was kind of, a very prominent kind of figure as far as creating unrest in India, British India was concerned. He was known as a forerunner of Gandhiji. So Gopalakrishna Gokhale as the political mentor and Bal Gangadhar Tilak as the forerunner of Gandhiji. Now you could get a question as to who was, you could get a picture question. Tilak ka question dal diya, identify this person, what was his relationship with Gandhiji, right? Forerunner of Gandhiji, give reasons why he was called so. So the reasons are 4, right? Depending on number of marks, you can give 2, 3, 4. His idea of Swaraj was akin, means similar to Mahatma Gandhi, idea of complete independence. Tilak sought close contact with the masses like Gandhi did. 3, Tilak preached the idea of Swadeshi, boycott and prohibition. Ab ye mat bolna Swadeshi out of syllabus hai. They were preached by Gandhi as well. 4, Tilak was imprisoned like Gandhi too was. So 4 reasons why he is considered the forerunner. Forerunner means Gandhi ke aane se pehle Tilak had done many of the things that Mahatma Gandhi also did during his time, right? Between 1915 and 1948, right? So this is important. Then he founded the Deccan Education Society along with Gopalakrishna Gokhale and M.G. Ranade, Justice Ranade. He is also sometimes referred to as the first leader of the Indian independence movement. ये मैंने civil services के कुछ test papers में देखा, मैं वहां पे भी देखता हूँ. Okay, I try to get as much information to check, cross check, verify, reference everything. Okay, तो वहां पर he is also referred to as the first leader of the Indian independence movement, right? I don't know who thought of him like that, but definitely this is again one reference which is given. Okay, he established the Home Rule League in Pune. He started the Ganapati festival as well as the Shivaji festival, and he organized akhadas and Lathi clubs. So all this is associated with Bal Gangadhar Tilak, important figure, please remember this. Then we come to Bipin Chandra Pal. He is known as the father of revolutionary thought in India. Okay. Aurobindo Ghosh, in fact, he had a very close association with Aurobindo Ghosh, who founded the Aurobindo Ashram. Aurobindo Ghosh called him one of the mightiest prophets of nationalism. So nationalism ka ye teesra hai, right? Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Surendranath Banerjee, and now Bipin Chandra Pal. He was known as one of the mighty, I mean, this is a title given to him by Aurobindo Ghosh specifically. Okay, so ye bhi yaad rakhna. He worked for the Tribune newspaper, jo Punjab se publish hota hai, Bengal Public Opinion and New India. Then we come to Lala Lajpat Rai. He was known as the Punjab Kesari, also Sher-e-Punjab. He was associated with the DAV College in Lahore and the Ghadar Party. Now let's come to some of the organizations. Brahmo Samaj, founded by RRR. Satyashodhak Samaj, founded by Jyotiba Phule, who worked for the cause of education of women, etc. Arya Samaj by Dayanand Swami Dayanand Saraswati. I mean, technically, you may say not in syllabus, bata deta hu. 3 or 4, you are free to ignore. Ramakrishna Mission by Swami Vivekananda. In dono ke references are given in the book. So I think you should also know the organizations that they were associated with. Okay, no harm. It's not rocket science to remember these 2 names, which you should be knowing even otherwise. Books and newspapers, oblique magazines. Dadabhai Naroji was associated with, ye books and magazines ke kafi favorite questions hain board ke liye. Dharma Margdarshak, Rast Goftar, which means speaker of truth. Poverty and un-British rule in India. So these are the books and magazines and newspapers that Dadabhai Naroji was associated with. Bal Gangadhar Tilak with Maratha and Kesari, Gita Rahasya and the Arctic Home of the Vedas. These are all that you should know. Surendranath Banerjee, Bengali and Nation in the Making. Jyotiba Phule, Gulamgiri. Please remember, मैंने इसको MCQ में भी डाला था. Rabindranath Tagore, he composed the Amar Sonar Bangla, of course, apart from the national anthem, etc. But I mean, this is there as part of the partition of Bengal ke time ka reference ka question. Lala Lajpat Rai, Young India, the call to Young India, England's debt to India, and the political future of India. Punjabi, Vande Mataram, people, national education. All this is associated with Lala Lajpat Rai. Now, some of the popular slogans. Tilak, Swaraj is my birthright and I will have it. Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose, give me blood and I shall give you freedom. Okay. Delhi Chalo and Jai Hind. Gandhi do or die during the Quit India movement in August 1942. So that's as far as the thing. Now, this list also I made just in case you should be aware of. 1885, obviously, W.C. Banerjee, the first session, INC in Bombay. 1886, the second session in Kolkata, Dadabhai Naoroji was the president. Lucknow session मैंने इसलिए यूज किया है because Lucknow Pact is part of your syllabus. So, who was the president of the Indian National Congress at the Lucknow session in 1916? A.C. Majumdar. Remember it? कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है अगर याद करो तो. Jawaharlal Nehru 1929 because of the Purna Swaraj declaration in Lahore. 1938 Subhash Chandra Bose, and again in 1939, after which there were differences and he exited the Congress party. Okay, so these are things which you should be aware of. Now again, this is something which is not part of your syllabus, but I will leave you with the thought. I mean, just as a thing, who was the Congress president in 1947 when India became independent? J.B. Kripalani. This is definitely out of syllabus, so याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. I'm just telling you as a GK point. So I hope फायदा हुआ. You've understood, especially the civics part which I have explained, and I do hope that you make good use of the rest of the day today and do very well in your history and civics examination. We will have much more coming up as part of the SWS Natu Natu series. So stay tuned. Tata, bye bye.